Ladies and gentlemen, Rockwell podcast, quarantine edition, episode 11 or 12. We're not sure, but it's episode 11. Let's make some noise for Rockwell podcast. My wonderful co-host, Alexander Michael, is here with me. And we have a very special guest that I'm like really excited about because we never had a guest like this. And I've never actually met somebody who's in the field of this individual. Let's make some noise from Marc YUZUIK. Marc YUZUIK rhymes with music. That's what he says.
Easiest way to remember it.
Yeah. How you doing, Marc?
Good, bro. Thanks for having me on here, Alex. Thanks for having me on here, buddy. Appreciate it very much.
No problem. All right. So I want to just start off really from the beginning. I know you're a motivational speaker and a hypnotist, right? Is that?
Yeah. I actually don't even like to use the word hypnotist because people put an identity to that word and they think hypnotist, I'm going to give up my free will. I'm going to lose control. People are going to make me do crazy things. I do a lot of shows. I've done over 10,000 shows in front of 8 million people all over the world. We tour all over the place internationally. But what I really enjoy doing is changing and helping people change their patterns in their subconscious mind. So whether you believe in hypnosis or not, that's not a thing. I'm not into that. I don't believe it. I don't care. It just means you can't use it for yourself. It's like saying, I don't believe in hammers, then go build a house with a rock. You're right. Hammers don't exist.
It's like not believing in gravity, right? It's kind of like it is what it is, whether you believe in it or not, right?
Well, it doesn't make logical sense for people to believe in hypnosis, logically speaking. Mm-hmm. Why would I get somebody to relax and they automatically do exactly what, it appears that I can get them to do? But why, like gravity, why are people on the bottom of the world falling off?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the more information we have, the more we understand it. So I always like to have people just be open-minded. Yeah. Because if you think about this, Rome, why do people do things in life that they don't want to do, knowing that they're going to get a result that they know they don't want, and they do it anyway? With hypnosis, hypnosis clears all of that up.
Okay.
It's because there's programs on our mind, and hypnosis just goes and kind of interferes with the programs on your mind and resets it, kind of like the hard drive on a computer.
Yes. So you're saying like everybody's like built into their habitual mind state. They wake up. It's kind of like Groundhog's Day for everybody, right? So something needs to interrupt that pattern in their brain. Yes. Okay. And like I personally believe in hypnosis, and I've always been interested in it because for 5 years, and we'll get into this later, I want to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm thinking about and I'm cut down, and I know that's not the only option, but I know it helps, and I know it would help with a lot of other things, but hypnosis is such an interesting thing to me. If you don't like the term hypnotist, what's another term for that?
Well, I don't use it a lot because people misunderstand it. Like when I do corporate events, and they're paying me a flat fee, they're always, well, don't say the word hypnosis. I don't use it anyway.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, you know what? Is there people in your audience that procrastinate? Yes or no? Well, yeah. Do they have fear? Yes or no? Yeah. I said, I remove that from them. If I can remove the fear and get them to stop procrastinating, I don't care what you call it. Call it what you want. Exactly. But the bottom line is I get you to change your patterns. You say you want to quit smoking, right?
Yeah.
Why do you want to quit?
Because it's terrible. It's an unhealthy habit. And I don't even like to broadcast it, but since we're being honest on the podcast, like I do smoke cigarettes, but I've cut down. And even like, I know it's going to take, like, I know you won't be able to cure me through a podcast, but like, I'm actually interested in like, okay, if I sat down and did a session with you, like I believe in hypnosis, and it could help,
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is people have an illusion of what hypnosis is. Mm-hmm. So you do want to quit smoking though, right? Because it's unhealthy and all that. What other reasons why you want to quit?
Just the coughing and just the stigma, and I have nieces and nephews, and it just looks bad to kids. There's every reason you can name in the book is the reason I want to quit, and it's just I'm ashamed of it, to be honest with you. Like I'm really ashamed of it.
Is it expensive? I don't even know. I don't smoke cigarettes.
It's not really about the expense. It is expensive, but that's not really the main issue. It's more the coughing, and just it's something I never thought I would do long term. It's something I always frowned upon. And it just, like 5-7 years later, I'm seeing myself still doing it. And it's like, it's my pattern. Like you said, it's like just a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's why people do things. Have you ever tried to quit before?
Yes.
Have you tried for what reasons? Why did you want to quit? What are the reasons?
Same reasons, health wise. And I was able to do it. The thing is, I'm so able to just get what I want when I need it that even when I quit after a week, I would bum off people, especially living in LA. You see so many people just like, and I'll just get 1 and 2 a day, and then it just got back up. I've quit before, but it's a pattern. It's like I'm a very habitual person, even with momentum. So even I'm a very momentum person. Like, so when things are going good, things keep going good. When things
Yeah.
go bad, things keep going bad. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And that's in anything, bro. I mean, when you got momentum, you've got force behind you, got energy behind you.
Yeah.
So have you ever tried to quit for other people, like your nieces, your nephews, whoever? Do you have kids?
I don't have kids, and my nieces they're very young. It's more about like just and I don't smoke. For instance, 2 weeks ago I went to Disneyland with my little niece and with my family, and I never smoked, and I could spend the whole day without even thinking about smoking a cigarette because I'm preoccupied and I know not to do it around them, and I don't even think about doing it. But when I'm alone and I work on music or I work on these podcasts, I need a break. It's one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it gets rid of stress at times, things like that.
I think I'm lying to myself that it does. I don't really think. I think it's just something I think I'll look like a weirdo standing outside and just, that's really what it is. I want to go outside. I get cabin fever, so I
Yeah.
want to go outside, and I just feel like I look like a weirdo if I just stand there. But that's not really the whole excuse for it. But it's a mixture of those two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the reason why you haven't quit. You don't have enough reasons why. Everything is done based on reasons. Your drive is reasons, and we'll do more for somebody else than we'll ourselves. But you can quit. You're in charge of that. And what's weird is if you knew you were going to get a check, say, if I give you a check for $100,000 to be a non-smoker for 3 months, would you do it?
Yes. Good point.
See, well, wait, you just said it wasn't about the money, but yet you answered yes right away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Here's the reason why you answered yes, bro, is because you didn't focus on what you had to do. You only focus on the result that you wanted. And what influences your mind, see, hypnosis is nothing more than influence of the mind. That's all it is. Once I understand what your story is, then I can influence you. I could use your own words against you or for you. It depends. So let me ask you this. I'm not going to tell you that you have to quit, but imagine getting $100,000 at the end of 3 months, but you got to make me a deal. Anytime that you see your nieces and nephews from now on, you have to take a cigarette out and you have to put one in their mouth and you have to light it and smoke and blow the smoke in their face because you want to tell them that you want to be a good example to them and they want to grow up to be smokers just like their uncle.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Well, just think about that for a second, right?
Yeah.
Because you said you've tried to quit before, but it wasn't working, right?
Yes.
The reason why you didn't quit before is because you don't have enough reasons.
Yeah.
But you'll do more for somebody else than with yourself. Can you imagine smoking in front of your niece and nephew and blowing in there and saying, just be like me?
No, never.
And the other thing is that if you continue to smoke over the next 90 days, you have to go to your nieces and nephews and tell them that they're going to smoke with you and that you want them to be homeless with you for 10 days and live on the street because you'd rather honor that than them.
Wow, that's very powerful, and I already feel like a visceral feeling in my body just from you saying that. Like that's.
Well, just think about it. Think about if you take a cigarette out and you put their name on the cigarette and put it in their mouth and imagine lighting it and them choking and coughing. But say, but they'll do that for you because they love you that much. They want to be like you and they want to connect and they want to have that relationship with you. So they'll jeopardize their values and morals to meet your connection to love. So
Wow.
You'd be willing to do that. I mean, you love them enough to do that, won't you?
Nope. Not to harm them. Yeah.
Well, so how on a scale from 1 to 10, how bad do you want a cigarette thinking about that now?
0.
Right. So let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel you could be a non-smoker with those images in your head and your body?
I do, but nobody's ever put it like that to me.
Because nobody knows how to tap into the subconscious mind because they don't listen to the story.
Yes.
So let me ask you, what is hypnosis? Hypnosis is nothing more than influence and persuasion, right?
Yeah.
It's not waving the watch and the illusion that people think on stage. That's only one form of it. Is it possible to get people to do things that you want them to do based on without putting them into trance? Yes or no?
Yes. Because you just got me to say yes.
Well, I didn't get you to say yes. I'm just asking you questions.
I know. I'm overthinking this.
But what you did was you've convinced you. Now you have a different meaning. The reason why people move forward in life, Ro, and Alex knows this, is because you create a new pattern on your mind. Your pattern of being a smoker was, it's only me. I only smoke during these times. So you justify it. There's no quitting when there's justification. There's only an excuse. But when you have reasons why, so you'll do it for money. So you'll do it for money. You know that you won't hurt your nieces and nephews, and you don't want them to be homeless. So now when you put a cigarette in your mouth, all those images and feelings are in your subconscious mind. Instead of, hey, I'm enjoying the cigarette, now it's going to make you feel different about what cigarettes mean to you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And whether it's smoking or being successful financially or in a relationship, no matter what it is, it's the same pattern. We run certain patterns in our mind. What I do is I get in there and find out what your story is. And I can get anybody to be a non-smoker, quit drinking, get out of drugs if they want to. You know, lose weight, become more financially successful, learn to communicate better, just by listening to their story. So the whole thing is, did I hypnotize you, yes or no?
I don't know. I have no answer for that. I don't know. I don't know. Did you?
Well, did you ever see a pitch person at a fair selling chamois and this and that and all that?
Yes.
Did you ever watch the news, CNN and then Fox? It's one incident, right? It's the same exact. See, the event is exactly the same. It's no different. The event is exactly the same. Then why is CNN and Fox come up with different meanings? Based on the meetings, who do you follow? If you're Democrat, you follow CNN. If you're Fox, you follow, if you're Republican, you follow Fox. Now, are you right or wrong? So there is no right or wrong. There's only opinion and there's only influence on the reason why the news does that. They get you to emotionally be involved in their story. Once you buy their story, boom, they hypnotize you and they get you to do what they want you to do. They hypnotize you. TV programming. It's called programming for a reason. They program you.
I agree. That's
See, understanding the mind is what you want to do. I want to educate people on your podcast to say,
yes,
you got to understand the patterns you're running. Why would somebody want to be successful financially, get the information, the knowledge, have all these things, spend the time, and go down the path only to procrastinate because they don't want to succeed? No, but the moment they stop and they stop procrastinating is the moment they enter their mind and their mind says, are you sure you can do this? Didn't we do this before? What if people don't like us? What if it fails? So we allow our conscious, our brain to start sending suggestions and go, you better question it. So all our desires, our conscious mind has desires, right?
yes.
Our subconscious throws these things out and says, remember, your mind is only designed for a couple things, survival and avoid pain. What if you fail? What does that relate to? Pain. So they go, better not do it then. So what happens when you feel pain? Because when you give up on something, Ro, do you feel guilty and things like, oh man, why did I do that, man? So you have two choices at that point. And the choices are either one, you take the action and you go for the results, or secondly, which is 95% of people do, they don't like the way they feel, so they have to change the story. You know what? I can smoke, just not around my nieces and nephew. In fact, as I'm cutting back, so now's not the right time. We got this virus going on. I'm under stress, so I'm not going to start now. I'm going to do it another time. So the reason you change the story is because it gets rid of the pain. But what happens is it gets back to where in a few months, you should have done it. And your brain says, why did you change the story? So then you start feeling guilty and you want to move forward. See, these are patterns in your mind. What you got to understand is, how do you control that pattern? How do you control the hard drive? What's driving those behaviors? See, we're in reaction all the time. People think that we're not reacting. No, I'm in charge of my mind. Nobody controls my mind but me. I'm in charge of this sucker. Nobody's getting in my mind. I'm strong-willed. Then why do you focus on things you don't want to focus on and feel the way you don't want to feel?
I want to know why I do that, because I read so many positive books, and all my books are about law of attraction, positive thinking, to change my normal, because I was brought up thinking negatively. And so I'm trying to change, and I'm wondering, why can't we change it even by actively trying to change it? Do we need to be in like a submersive state, or like a state where where you're a little bit where your subconscious
not at all.
can be affected? No?
Hypnosis is nothing more than influence and persuasion.
Okay.
Somebody says something to you. You see, feel, hear, experience it, believe it to be true, and you act upon it. Who are your greatest influences? Your parents, your churches, your teachers, your television programs, your friends. Those are all powerful influences. Everything you have in life, Ro, is based on what you feel you deserve, not on what you could accomplish. Ooh. Your limitations are not based on what you can accomplish. Mm-hmm. What you deserve is what you have in life. And what happens is, you hang around people that give you a story that says, you know what? It's not your fault, bro. You had that negative stuff when you're growing up. It's okay, bro. Let's go have a cigarette. Let's go have a drink. Let's think about it. Let's be logical. Let's be real. We need to be real about this, bro. What are you thinking about?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so what they do is they lower your expectations so they don't have to raise theirs. Their limiting beliefs that what they can't do is influencing you. There are phone numbers in your cell phone right now that you should delete out of your phone because you have to make room for the people trying to come into your life. If you want to attract people into your life and you want to get all these people to influence you, then get rid of that. If I have a glass that holds 16 ounces and I put 16 ounces in there and it's bad, 16 ounces of liquid, it's all muddy water and I'm thirsty, I could put the best water in the world on top of that. It's not going to get in that 16 ounces until I clean out that other garbage.
Why is it so difficult for people to do that then?
Because you want acceptance. Because you will lower your standards and values to meet other people's acceptance. Because what if you do go for it? Are your friends going to make fun of you? At first they will. Go watch the movie Facing the Giants. And there's a scene in there, and Alex is very familiar with this, because Alex has been a big part of my live events. Alex has seen some transformations where when you first try something, people make fun of you. They don't believe you can do it. It's not that they don't believe you can do it. They don't believe they can do it. And so they try to push their beliefs and limitations on you. And what happens, they'll laugh and they'll make fun of you at first, and then you give up. Most people give up. But the more you pursue something, and then they start to take notice. They stop laughing. They start to take notice. And then once they start to take notice, if you continue down that path, then they get inspired. See, once they get inspired, then they stop and they start moving and they want to be like you. And then they start looking for you for advice.
And when they do that, what would you recommend to other people? Because I've gone through this situation. Because once I grew up very insecure, then I got inspired. I moved to LA, 7 years inspired, got a team around me of friends that I knew, but so like exactly how you said, they were inspired. They wanted to be like me. But I also felt that my new inspiration wasn't strong enough to bring them up with me, and they brought me back down. Maybe that's an excuse, but like, does that make any sense to you? Like,
Dude,
like,
you know how many times I've heard that story?
okay.
Let me ask you this, bro. Did Oprah have an upbringing that was, wait. So she didn't have the great upbringing. She was molested and she didn't grow up in a rich family and she was black and she had all these, and she grew up in areas that were not like abundance.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. You know the difference between you and Oprah?
What?
She divorced her story.
Woo,
You still married yours.
Oh,
So far, all you've told me is all the things that how your past is. That's not your past, bro. That's your present. What if you actually forgot to remember that you grew up with all this negative shit? You know what? I'm not a high school educator. I'm a high school dropout. I was in a seminary that was very abusive. I came through a very difficult life. But you know what? I chose to make a different thing. I didn't want to be my childhood experience of my adult life live like that. I wanted better for me. So I didn't care what people thought. I only knew that if I can continue to move forward, I can inspire and influence people that were in my situation that felt they couldn't do it. And instead of bringing people down or lowering my expectation, I decided to raise it. And see, I surround myself with people that make way more money than me. Like some of their payroll are $1 million a month, because they will lift me up. Everybody I hang around with that is in my phone that are contacts for me, those are inspirations for me. Who are you surrounding yourself with to get the results that you want? Who do you have to become to lower your expectation instead of raise it? And that's what you'll ask your listeners are doing the same thing. See, you think I'm only talking to you.
No, I don't think that. I know my listeners are going to learn from this because my listeners deal with the same struggles. Yes. Yeah.
What they deal with is the story they tell themselves. They allow situations and events to dictate their meanings in life and to hold them back because that's their limitations. And that's what things mean to them. So they adapt that story. And so every time you try to move forward, it's like running against the wind. You're getting pushed back all the time.
Do you believe guilt is a useless emotion, or guilt and shame?
I think it's there. I think guilt, every emotion is there to serve you. The only reason people have pain is because they haven't got the lesson. The pain is there to get so you can get the lesson. And some people live in pain their whole life.
Yes, yes. And that's not chemical, or or it
What
varies,
is
or
chemical? Well,
it
what
is?
is chemical?
I
What do
don't
you
know.
mean by that?
I don't know. That's what they
Treatment.
tell me. They'd say people are clinically, chemically depressed because
Where,
they're
where does
the.
that come from? Do you think it's possible?
Mhm.
Do you think it's possible for, if you focus on being negative, that the energy and the chemicals that you're creating in your body are going to create negative chemicals in your body to your brain?
Yes, I believe
So
that.
who's in charge of our chemicals?
We are.
Okay.
I am.
And what is in charge? And what dictates that? What medicines are you giving your brain? Are you, number one is, how would you, when you enter something, are you focused on what you have to do? Is your energy there? Or when you walk into a room, before I do a seminar or a show, and Alex would know this, I clear the room out. I don't let people in there. I don't let anybody in there. Because if they saw what I did to condition my mind and body to get ready to perform and to actually give back, see, I have a moral obligation to serve. I'm not trying to be successful for me to have more things. I'm only here to make a difference. But if we're doing it for the ego and we're not there to serve, then guess what? We question ourselves. So if you condition, when you do anything that you're ready, like when Alex, when he gets ready to do a movie, he conditions his mind and body to celebrate in ways that he becomes that character. Who do you have to become to get to that level? What do you have to believe to attract wealth in your life? And what lies are you telling yourself? So you know if you're telling the lie or not. You can go around saying, I'm successful, I'm rich, I'm successful. No, you're not. Where's the results? Versus saying, if I hang around the right people and I condition my mind and body and I have a roadmap, I write down exactly what I want, why I want it, what am I willing to do, and what am I capable of doing, and what steps. The moment I have a thought, the moment you have a thought and you want to move towards that thought, if you give it more than just a few seconds, your brain will find excuses not for you to move forward and allow you to procrastinate and have fear. And then you fit in. See, either you fit in with your friends or you step up and step out. And that's the choices you have to make. So you can have your friends, but don't let them influence you if you truly want to be successful. Model and mirror the people that you want to be successful around. That's who your coaches are.
True.
That's brilliant. That's amazing. That's amazing. Can I ask you this? Were you, just so, because I know a lot of my listeners, they may think in their mind, oh, it's easy for him. He's always been like this. A lot of people think people are predisposed to being positive or being negative, and they're were you always like this?
No,
or
you condition yourself. You
Okay.
wake up and you condition. If you want to go to a gym, do you ever see a bodybuilder?
Yeah.
Do you think that he just woke up with that body? Or did
No.
he condition his body? Did he condition his muscles? See, it's not that we don't have thoughts or negative thoughts. Let me tell you, 4 weeks ago, 100% of my income stopped overnight. I own a sound company, nobody doing live events. I'm a speaker, no live events. I'm an entertainer, there's no shows out there. So 100% of my income stopped. I had two choices to make. Figure out how to make it work or go be a victim.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you figure out how to make it work? One, is this the time to go out and charge everybody and start making a lot of money? No, it's a time to what? Serve and give back. So here's what I came up with. I'm laying down in bed, and Alex has been in my house. He knows what it's like. And I wake up early in the morning, and boom, I pop out of bed. I got these thoughts. So your brain will give you the answer when you search for something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you search for something that's negative, it'll keep you down. But if you say, what are the answers, and just go to bed, and knowing that, trust your brain has the answers already in it. Just move away, open the doors, and allow it to flow. So I wake up in the middle of the morning, and I go, I got it. And Yolanda, my wife, says, what are you doing? I go, got an idea. Grab my pen, grab my paper, head to my sauna, sit in my sauna, and start writing things out. How do I serve people in this time? But it's got to be better than that. I got to give them more than content. So I thought, I'm going to do a 9-week program where the first 3 days, first 3 sessions are all about mindset. You know, what are your beliefs? Why do you have the stories? Your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, understand what you're attracting in your life. Why are you doing it? Why do we have fear? How do you overcome fear? So those 3 weeks are going to be all about that. Then the next 3 weeks are going to be all strategies. People need strategies, you know? How do you adapt and get the right strategies in your business? What do you need to do to become successful in this time? See, the thing people always complained about, why they're not successful, is I don't have enough time. Well, what do you got now? You got time. The other thing they complain about is I don't have an audience. What do you got now? All the people staying home. And people used to complain about, Being in traffic, rush hour traffic. Guess what? Grateful people are going to realize, I wish I had rush hour traffic now. So you either complain or you're not. So we give them strategies the next 3 weeks. And then the next 3 weeks are all implementation. How do you really implement it? How do you start a podcast? How do you build a Facebook? How do you build up a following? And I thought, what should I charge for this? And I've got all my guys out there, right? All of my coaches and all that. How much should I charge for this? And some are saying 1,000, 1,500, 500. I got one as low as 197. And I thought, yeah, 9 weeks coaching, all content. Hell yeah, that's a hell of a deal. But you know what I came up with? $20. And here's why I said $20. And the reason why, just because the look on your face told me, are you freaking kidding me? Here's the reason I said $20 is because, one, if I gave it away for free, nobody would attend. But $20 is the difference of I will invest in myself for $20. But if I tell them 200, I'm going to go buy food for my family. So you have to say, what does the public need right now? They need to get in the right frame of mind. See, we're quarantined physically. Some are quarantined mentally. So you ain't no mental quarantine here. It's only the physical.
Yes.
See, this is the gift when we get to go to so many people out there and get our message out now. Thank God all these people get to listen to you now. So here's the thing. I'll give them the best content they ever had, $20. But I want to take it a step farther. See, I get them to break their belief system that they can't make money in today. So how do I do that? I've got to give them an opportunity. Here's the deal. Bro, you sign anybody up that wants to come to my $20 course, I give you $15 of that. So if you have 10 people, you just made $150. Mm-hmm. Now you got opportunity. That's the first step to understanding your mindset. And when you share that, now, would you want to share that with your listeners? If you got 100, if you got 100 people sign up, you got $1,500. I get $5. I get 500, you get 1,500. Why would I do that? Everybody does things for their own reasons. I'm doing it for my benefit as well. Don't kid yourself. You're not doing it. You're not doing this podcast for other people. You're doing it for your benefit to serve other people. See, we're serving other people. But the reason I want to do it,
win-win.
It's got to be a win-win. Is because my whole focus this year is I want to build my list. And how do you build a list? How do you really get raving fans? You give unlimited. You over-deliver and you undercharge. Because when I come up and I get to do a live event, I know I'm going to help them change their life. And when I can get them to change their life, who do you think life's really got changed? Not just theirs, but I was the instrument of that. So I get fed that. See, being successful isn't always how much money you make. It's how fulfilled you are. And what are you doing to serve people out there? Now is the time to serve, not to take. Now's the time to give people an opportunity to say, hey, you've been stuck with this thing called the job for years. Hey, you got a break now. What did you always wanted to do in life? If you had more time, which you have, what did you really want to do? And you have a choice. You're going to sit on that couch and watch TV, which is negative programming, and you're going to listen to other people's problems so you feel better about your problem, or you're going to step up and go, how do I become creative? And I said, I can create this. And I thought, no, not 9 weeks. Let's do it in 6 weeks. And I give them more content. That way, because we ain't got 9 weeks. We got to get it done now. And within the first couple of weeks, they start making money. You think they're ever going to leave me as a fan? You know why my wife stays with me? Because no one will treat her better than me.
Wow, what does that mean? Does she get offended by that? Like,
no, she treats me. Nobody's going to treat me better than she treats me.
Okay.
See, I wake up in the morning and how can I serve her?
Yes.
But she does the same. See, I don't horse trade with people. I'm not doing a business transaction with my wife. I have a relationship with her. Yes. I'm relating to her.
That's a beautiful thing. Yes.
So you got to look at what love is. Intimacy.
She thinks the same way you think, or you guys?
We both think that way.
Were you guys, when you and your wife met, were you guys both thinking the same way, or did you influence her? Did she help influence you, or what was it? Or you guys were already on the same?
No, we're always an influence to each other. She had some patterns and some things that needed to be, altered a little bit, I will say. Some understandings. Since she's from Mexico, and since she was 7 years old to 17, she worked in those strawberry fields picking the strawberries. The Mexicans did all that the white people go by and go, they're taking our jobs. You get your ass out there and do it.
Yeah.
She put herself through school, from grade school.
Yes.
She has an appreciation. She loves it. But she had to become very, very, sometimes very harsh for that because she was in that masculine energy. But when I got a hold of her, I said, You know, if you drop that masculine energy, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And she didn't have to put that front on. See, some people become, and they pretend to be other people instead of become themselves. So we pretend to be somebody else because we want people to like and accept us. So, you know, hey, if I can get them to think I'm more than I am, guess what? Ooh, they'll respect me more. But what if you, who are you really? And then who do you really pretend to be? That's the question to ask yourself.
That is a great question for all of us to ask ourselves, especially during quarantine time, because we're being so introspective and like we're all self-reflecting. Because I know I'm doing a lot of self-reflection, and I'm a thinker. I always thought I did, and I always thought, okay, but right now it's actually helping. I'm putting things into perspective. I'm seeing my weaknesses. I'm seeing my strengths, and
yeah, we talked about that on the other show.
Yeah, you're right. It's and it is really that question you just said about, huh?
Oh no, I said we had talked about that on our other show.
Yeah, and and that was a great thing he said about who are you pretending to be, or you should try to be yourself. And yeah, do you have anything to elaborate on that, Alex?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, what do you think it is that is the difference between somebody who gets inspired by you, and you might have already answered it, and someone who ends up becoming a quote unquote hater?
Because of the actions they take. If they don't want to take any actions, a lot of people don't want to make change because they want to be a victim because they get certain needs met. See, we'll jeopardize our happiness to get certain needs met. Well, I'm getting the attention, at least it's negative attention, it's better than something. But if I get cured and I actually move forward and I have to be accountable now and do something different, instead of people going, oh my God, look at that poor, she's got such a bad life, he's got such a bad life, he doesn't ever get a break, she never gets a break, oh, they were so mistreated, nobody knows their story. Boom, they're filled up with significance, certainty, variety. So it's like, man, they'll settle for that because they don't want to step up. So you got to step up. And the whole thing is people don't want to step up. As an actor, you got to ask yourself, why are you a better actor than most people out there? Because you don't pretend to be Alex. You pretend to be the actor that you're supposed to be. That's who you need to be. You become that person. Who do you need to become to be successful? Who do you need to get out of your life to make room for the people in it? What changes do you have to make to attract those people in your life? Would a successful person want to be around you? Are you dressed for success? Are you talking the way successful people do? Are you hanging around the right people? What are you doing? Are you learning? Or are you watching TV? Are you constantly conditioning your mind to attract the things in your life? Are you visualizing? What is the language patterns you're saying to yourself? See, the language patterns that you use all the time, Ro, is, well, my past, that's not your past. If you're talking about how your past wasn't so good, then you're still living your present. What if you didn't have a past and you only designed a future? Think of it like this. Life is nothing more than an illusion. The whole freaking life is nothing but a freaking illusion. It's a movie. It's a fucking movie. That's all it is. The difference is you're the actor, you're the director, you're the editor, you decide what music goes in, and you decide how this thing plays out. How do you want your movie to be? See, because you already had part one. Now, what's the sequel going to be? And if you're in charge of your life and your mind, decide, write it. But most people won't even get out of bed. They'll write it once a year at New Year's Eve when they're drunk, saying, I want to quit smoking, I want to lose weight, I want a better relationship, I want to have more success. And they generalize. And then by January 10th, that's gone. So you stopped writing. I wonder why. I wonder why you stopped writing.
Are you saying that because people don't try?
Huh?
Like, are you saying that because the people who do that January 1st, they're not really trying, they're not serious on what they actually want?
They're very serious.
Good?
No, they're very serious January 1st, and they're very serious January 2nd. But the problem is they don't condition themselves to follow through because they're used to not moving it. Because there's a thing called a pattern of restriction. A pattern of restriction is a belief that you have that what you want isn't possible for you, usually based on a previous experience. You know what? I'm losing weight this year. I'm doing it. And they go on a diet. As soon as they go on a diet, your brain goes, hey, Bristol brain, did you not go on a diet before? And what happened? Did you give up on that diet? And did you go right back to put that weight back on? Okay, brain, hello, little conscious mind. When you think you're going to get this weight, think about it. You think you're trying to trick me? We've done this before. So what do? You listen to your brain and you stop. and you
That
give
was
up.
brilliant what you just said, and I appreciate that. Was really brilliant. And I know what a lot of people know, or they think they know this information, but they don't implement it because I think the fear of being liked. And it's one thing with friends. It's one thing to separate yourself from friends, and starting over with that. How would you recommend to our listeners to do that with family, where they have love with their family, but they know that their family is bringing them down mentally, and like what they don't believe in them and things like that, and so they're living to the standards of what their parents think of them and to the ceiling of how the parents think of them? How would you?
Yeah,
Uh,
because here's the thing is we always want to have love and acceptance. We want to make sure we're good enough. Those are the two human needs. And if we don't feel we're going to be good enough for our parents, then we'll settle for connection. So we'll jeopardize and won't be successful because we don't want to upstage our parents, because what if that would hurt their feelings? So what we do is we create this illusion and this story in our head that says, yeah, I'm okay. I don't want to move forward. But here's how you get rid of that. See, it's a real simple pattern. You got to change what that means to you. And do you, I just got back from Singapore not long ago, and they speak a different language over there. You understand English, but they also speak Chinese and all that. Do you speak Chinese?
Me, I don't. I speak
No.
English.
So if I was to talk to you in Chinese
Uh-huh.
and tell you a whole story in Chinese, what would you get out of it?
Nothing.
Exactly. So when people are talking negative to you and you accept that and you listen to that, it goes in your brain, it conditions your brain. So you then own it.
Yes.
But if you pretend like you don't hear what they're saying and it's just noise, it's not going to be a part of your pattern. It's not going to condition you. See, you got to love your family, but they don't have to be your influence, and they don't have to inspire you to be bad. You got to find your coaches that are going to inspire you to be good and are going to lift you up. And then it's your obligation not by telling them the sermon. A best sermon is shown, not spoken. Show the results you're going to get.
Yes.
Don't talk about it, because
Yes.
you know why? People tell people all the time, I'm going to do this, and they don't do it. So they are, as a human, conditioned not to believe people what they say.
Yes, that's so true. And I think that energy, if you tell people your goals, I think that energy conflicts with your energy, and that energy will be put on your goals, and you may not even really go full throttle because somebody doubted you already, and somebody's telling you this and that. And you're right. Yeah. And
So you may not go any further, or you're speaking from experience. It sure sounds like you're speaking from experience.
I'm definitely speaking from experience because I've battled with this forever, and I've got out of it, but it
Okay.
took a long time.
Here's the other thing.
And I was wondering why
I want to condition you right now.
all these books to do it. Yeah.
You're hypnotizing yourself every
Okay.
time you speak. All the language you're speaking, that's why it's so easy to read you. Yeah, but I've dealt with it forever. Forever. Your whole life, every moment of the day, you've been negative. You've had something to influence you negative. Every single moment, right?
Like I got to stop talking like that. You're right.
What if you said it differently? See, I do lose weight seminars all over the place.
Yeah.
I walk into a place, and there's some big people there, dude. Don't trust me.
Yeah.
They ain't there because they want to quit smoking. They're there because they're taking up 2 seats in a plane. You know what? Let me tell you how big they are. When they walk in front of the TV, you just miss one commercial. That's how big they are, right? I'm just telling you. So what I do is I walk in there and I go, here's the deal. Ain't none of you, not one of you are overweight in here. None of you. You just have excess weight that doesn't belong to you. And you have borrowed it long enough, and it's time to give it back. Quit stealing things that aren't yours. Now give it back. The mind says, oh my God, I'm not fat. No, your ideal weight is already within you. You just got things around you that don't belong there. See, a statue isn't poured. A statue, they chisel away things that don't belong there.
Yes.
It's a sculpture. See, all of us are impeccable bodybuilders. We just got to condition, get the stuff that doesn't make it look like we're not.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are thin. All of us are healthy. We just have to get rid of the things that aren't making us healthy.
Mm-hmm.
By the language you're using, it's hypnotizing you.
Mm-hmm. 100%. 100%.
True.
So how do you use better, more positive language? Ask yourself a better question. Every word you use, if you think about the words you're using, right? What we do is we generalize. Every time, my whole life, this always happens to me. I never get ahead. Oh my God. So what do? Every time you go to get ahead, your brain says, hang on. What are you thinking? You're never getting ahead. Get back there.
Exactly.
See, it's doing, if I put a program on my computer and it goes on a hard drive and it's a program and it's a virus, if I don't condition that virus to go away and put something in there to remove that virus, it's going to continue to give them that same result. But if all you're doing is conditioning your brain, see, every time you use a word, you put a bunch of letters together, right? You're spelling, right? Because you make a word, you got to spell it, right? You got to put those letters to spelling. And think about this. Dictionaries to spell is to cast a spell. So what's the spell you're giving yourself by the word you're using? And to somebody else. And then you put a bunch of those words together and you put a period or even a question mark at the end because you want to ask yourself, right? And you put, what is that called? That's a sentence. So what's the sentence you're giving yourself? And others by the language you're using. Are you uplifting or are you bringing it down? What's your tonality? What's your physiology? What are the words you're using? How do you condition yourself to succeed and be in celebration all the time instead of wondering what's going to happen? Why do you allow things to happen to you instead of designing the life that you want? It's because you don't condition your mind and body to say the right things and you don't move your body. When I get ready for a seminar, I'm spending an hour in there where it's all music and I'm pumping myself up. I'm rocking. I'm taking my shirt off. I'm doing things that if the public saw me, they would put me in the loony bin. But it's not about that. I have to serve. I've got to get my mind and body in sync so I'm on target. I'm not there for my benefit. I'm there to serve others. What are you serving? Who are you serving? If you're only serving yourself, you'll fail. And the only reason why people are overweight because they're only thinking of themselves. The only reason why you're not more successful because you're only thinking of yourself. It only affects me. Really? What if you had an opportunity to feed children that can't feed themselves, but you think it's only about you? See, you got to decide what things mean to you. And what things mean to you is going to determine how bad you want to get it and what are the things you're going to do. So you'll always find a way to do something. But if you focus on what you have to do instead of what you want to get, you'll always talk yourself out of it.
That's very deep. And I really do appreciate you. I'm like really in awe right now. And I'm like, my audience is really going to love this because everybody, they need to hear it in the way that you just said it, because people read it from books, this and that. But the way that you just said it, broke it down in a human way, a simple way that like my audience will be able to, because we have a lot of artists that listen to us, a lot of people that are striving for things, and they don't necessarily, the one factor that I think is blocking a lot of people is the belief in themselves, and to be able to block out whether the thing with family, with friends, whatever, it's to not burn those relationships, but to block out what they say. That's like the main difficulty. And I think you gave us a lot of good tools in that. I want to ask you midway through, can you do like 15 more minutes? Do you have 15 more minutes or 10 more minutes?
We got about 7 or 8 more minutes.
7, 8, all right. Just right now, you want to, do you offer personal sessions to people and then they can contact you, and where can they contact you?
They can email me. I've got some programs. And I don't do a lot of one-on-ones. A couple of reasons. One, we don't travel. We travel a lot, but we don't anymore. But they can email me. I've got different programs on there and all that. They can. I do live events, 3-day live events where it's. I mean, this is 40 minutes. Imagine 3 days where it's like a rock concert, and you really condition yourself. You walk out of there, you will not be the same person. Yes. You will absolutely take your life to the next level.
Okay, and not to cut you off, I want to get these questions in real quick before you have to go. Like for instance, like, okay, a motivational speaker is not necessarily a hypnotist, but I've seen hypnotists, and I don't think of that word in a negative way, but I've seen, like, for example, I've seen a big example, like, Howie Mandel on, I saw the one on
America's Got Talent.
You ever see that where he got hypnotized and to not, how it's like, and he's super OCD, and how do you explain, like, that is real, like he's the biggest OCD person. Yeah, it's very real. Yeah. Right. How do you explain that?
Because your subconscious mind, what it is, he gave a suggestion, is directed to the subconscious mind. If that could be done, think about that. If you could hypnotize somebody like Howie Mandel, and you know how crazy he is about germs, and you get him to shake hands, what if you allow me to hypnotize you, and I put a suggestion in your mind that you'll be a multimillionaire, that you'll surround yourself with millionaires, that you think and do things like a millionaire does? What do you think will happen? The only thing that'll happen is you will respond and react. As a hypnotist, I get people to be successful. I'm not here to motivate anybody. They've all been motivated before. I'm here to get results. All I know how to do is get you real results. When I speak in front of corporations, they bring me in, I do a show demonstration. The next day I speak, no matter what, if they've got a program that's 30 or 40,000, boom, people will buy their program because I understand how the mind and patterns work.
Yeah.
With your listeners, same thing. They can go look at some of the things I've got on my website. You know, I mean, follow me on
What's the
Facebook.
website,
You can
by the way?
you can see some of my stuff on my Facebook. We do clips all the time on there, right? You know, so you can see part of the show. But it's so
Nice.
much better than deeper than that. You know, it's entertaining is one thing, but you know what? I've done 10,000 shows. I don't need any more applause. It's for me to make
Yeah.
a difference. You know, and that's my life. So yeah,
That's
I mean, I've got two different websites. One is hypnotizememarc.com, hypnotizememarc.com. And the other one for my seminars is successcombination.com. And I've got a book, Creating the Life That You Want. And for your listeners, I'll give it to them for free because they're talent, they can have it for free. And we right now we're doing every Saturday for the 4 weeks, doing an event with somebody, a webinar for 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day on Saturdays in the morning, where we teach people how to go from $0 to $1.5 million. We show them exactly how to do it. We break it down. Not only break it down, we give them all the platforms. The reason why is because this is the time. And normally the guy was going to come speak at my event and he'd sell the course for $1,200. He decided to gift it to people because we're in a time where people need help. And this is all about how to brand yourself, how to market yourself, how to get it out there. And it's a community that is really growing. And it's something that I thought is really cool. We do that every Saturday for the next 3 or 4 weeks. We'll really help people get out of this coronavirus. Nobody's in a virus. Don't let yourself be conditioned to be, you know what, I'm quarantined. No. Not your mind, only your body.
There you go. There you go. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much you helped us, and appreciate your wife too. Like, I know she helps you with this and all that. So thank you to her as well. And Alex, you have anything left? Because he's a busy man. We can see. You know.
Yeah. So we have about
3
more minutes here. The last question for the actual listeners that are hardcore, that I've been getting a lot of emailing and messages about. They're like, you know, I hear people like Tony Robbins talk about how the word coach is used all the time. So how do you kind of differentiate what actual value is brought to the word coach if it's like oversaturated?
Because I want to see what they've done. What do they accomplish? What are their goals? What are they going to do for me in order for me to get to the next level? If a coach or an influencer isn't questioning, I got to find out where you're at. If I don't know your story, then I'm just generalizing coaching the same way. Well, not everybody is influenced the same way. Everybody's influenced differently. I would coach Ro way different than I'd coach you. I'd find out what is number one is your personality. What influences you? What's the story you've been telling yourself? What are your goals? Why do you want your goals? What have you procrastinated on? Why have you procrastinated? What are some of the fears you have? Why have you had those fears? What was your childhood like? What are you doing now about it? What's the last time you did succeed? How do you condition your mind? How do you condition your body? What are the words you're saying to yourself? And if a coach doesn't ask you all that, then their information? We'll get information by. A coach is going to be about you. They got to know who you are more than you know who you are. I would know more about you than you know about you because you live with yourself every day. You don't see it. I can come in and listen to your language patterns and tell you what's wrong. I know exactly why Rose smokes. I know exactly how to get him to quit.
And I appreciate your honesty so much. It's so real that it's really directly affecting my soul in a good, positive way. Like, I'm going to be ashamed if I smoke another cigarette right now, you know. Wow. Thank you so much, man. Like, oh my God, you have no idea. And I can't even imagine what it would be like to be in your seminar. Like, I can't wait. And when this is all over, you're going to start doing seminars again, correct?
Yes, I am. Would you like to come as my guest?
I would love to come as your guest, sir. Like,
all right,
yeah.
I'll gift that to you. And everyone there paid $1,000 or $1,500 to be there, but I'll gift it to you for allowing me to be on your podcast.
Thank you.
And you can bring a guest.
I'll bring Alex. And then thank you so much.
Alex has a lifetime membership to come in any of my seminars.
Okay. You're a beautiful man, and I mean that like literally. Like your soul, I can feel your spirit, and you're not doing this for a lot of these self-help people. You're not a self-help person. That's the difference between you and a lot of these people. I can feel your genuine spirit of trying to help people, and you know that it's okay to not make money off everything right now in a downtime, in a quarantine time, and that it means a lot to all of us.
Now's the time to help everybody get ahead, to have enough money to feed their family. That's the program. That's why I created this 6-week program. It's not even up yet. We're just trying to get our website to where we have a landing page. Imagine paying $20 for this coaching, but 6 times. And it goes a little longer than what we've talked about. And then if you refer anybody, you get 15 of the $20. It's an opportunity. See, I don't want to just help you. I want to help you get ahead, not just coach you with information, but give you some real strategies how you can make it real for yourself and other people. And imagine the people you bring on, how much help you've helped them. Now you get to get some of that as well because you're getting that fulfillment too.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You can email me. I always respond back. HypnotizeMeMarc.com is my website, and SuccessCombination.com. And I always answer my own stuff. And, and Alex has my personal cell phone. So
we
won't put that in the information, but we'll put everything else in the link in the bio, and we'll make sure we put that up. And we appreciate
my Facebook fan. Like me on Facebook and Instagram. That's what I want. I want to build up my Facebook. I'm trying to get on the TV show Ridiculousness.
With Rob Deerdeck.
Huh?
Rob Deerdeck.
Yes. Yeah, we're working on it.
That may be for another conversation, but why do you want to get on Ridiculousness?
Because I love it. I'm such a fan of them. And it's just nutty. And I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Janelle West Coast.
That's our goal for him, all right? We have said it on the podcast.
Let's do it.
Sir.
All right. Marc, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys very much.
Love that, bro.
Alex, let's keep going after we let him go. Let's keep going because we want to discuss this because this is life-changing. But thank you, Marc, so much. And we'll make sure our listeners have all your information and because they need it. A lot of our listeners need it. So thank you.
Yeah, and sometimes I customize programs for people. If they want something customized, I customize it for them. I'm working on a Parkinson's program right now.
All tricks in the bag. I swear.
Yeah. Time to serve.
All right, guys.
Yes, sir. Marc YUZUIK.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you
Be
so
safe
much.
out there.
Say thank you to your wife again. Right? I think this is the best. To me, it's like the best interview we ever did.
I think Marc is he's got something there. That's a
How
guy.
did you find this man, sir? How did you find him? How do you know him?
Oh, he's
this is all for ladies and gentlemen.
He's been in my family since I was 5.
How? Is that personal?
Yeah. So what's kind of cool is that, sometimes relationships are just built off of other relationships. And I was introduced to him at one of his shows. Like he was saying that all his fairs are stopped at the moment. And my mom ended up going to one of his fairs. And so her husband at the time, now her ex-husband, got introduced to him, and then she got introduced to him, and then she introduced me to him. And she attended one of his seminars with real estate and changing your life, some of the stuff that he works on. And the rest is history.
You know what I liked about him? Like he didn't seem like one of those just regular like seminar people. You know those seminar people, what I'm talking about? This dude is real, bro. Like how old were you when you met him? Like he must have affected your mind. That's why you're so positive. You're 5?
Mm-hmm.
So why you get mad when I clown you about something? I'm just saying. But that's why you're so positive. That's why you look the way you do. Because I'm not saying that's the only reason why, but that's why you're in shape. Like your mindset, and it's difficult it needs to it helps to all of our listeners out there, to your kids, keep them thinking positive at a young age. It's a lot less work it's a lot less what do they call that word? Forgetting. It's like a word, unlearning, like for them to do if you want to learn it at 5 years old. You know what I mean? And that's why this guy is ripped. Look at Alex right now. He's ripped, and you know what I'm saying? You want to be like that, you got to unlearn the brain patterns that you've been taught from these negative people in your life. You got to have people like this guy, Marc. Wow, bro. It's one thing to hear it on a video on YouTube, but it's one thing to have it personally delivered to you. And he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
so,
that's him. And like one of the big things that we sometimes forget, at least I do, is that when you start to, like you talked about momentum, and we kind of went on that a little bit. If you break away from that momentum, and you start veering down. So I'll have my hands up so we can see it, and our audience can see it. If you start to go down left and you were continuously going straight, right? Every single decision matters. So it's like, oh, I don't want to take that session right today with my coach. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that because of whatever. It starts to change you back. So it's a ever growing process. It's not like you do this once and you're straight, you know?
Yes, I think that's the main key. It's not like you can do it once, because you can even do it 10 years, and if you stop for you got to start over. So, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you have to constantly, and like I read a book called Conversations with God, and they say like, okay, if you're
That's deep.
constantly
That's
saying
deep.
affirmations what'd you say? What happened?
That's deep. No, that title, that's deep.
Yeah, that's an ill book. Like, and what they say is like, oh, he had a corny ass quote. He's like, doesn't thinking like this make Jack a dull boy? I guess that's like a quote from some, but like, because he's saying like, if you constantly keep thinking positive thoughts and affirmations, doesn't that make you less creative and you're like a robot? But it's not. It's actually the opposite, because you're training your mind, your brain, washing your mind. And trust me, it's way easier said than done, because you have to train your mind to the point where external circumstances cannot affect what you truly believe inherently. Like what your parents think, what your mom thinks, what your dad thinks, they think you're a piece of shit, your brother, your sister, whoever is the that we all know the voice in our head when we're doubting ourselves. There's somebody from our past who's doubting us. And once we like, I know for a fact when I like spill something, I know what voice is in my head. It's not my voice, but I know it's a voice that allow me to think that I'm less than worthy. So it's a beautiful thing, man. You got anything to add to this? And I appreciate you for bringing him on.
Yeah, no worries, man. He's been such an integral part of my life, and I mean that in the most authentic way, because
It looked like he had a lot of love for you, bro.
yeah, he really had. There's been times where I've not only called him my mentor, but I've looked at him like a father figure. Like, and it's funny. I was gonna start clowning on him about his sauna, because his wife talked all this crap when I got to his house, and was like, oh yeah, he's like raving about the sauna and all this stuff. And he lives in Vegas, of all places.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's someone who's really clear with their mind.
Yeah, he's not tempted by the sins of Vegas and shit like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
that
And
shit hard.
he honestly tells me all the time, if I start feeling that I'm veering left, then he'll put me back straight. So I'm always learning from the guy, and I hope that
Yeah.
our listeners really enjoy this.
Yeah, this is our best. To me, this is no disrespect to any. This is our most unique episode, because I have a few favorites. The first episode is my favorite, no matter what. Aina, because she helped this whole thing get started. So shout out to Aina Brion. Everybody check out her album. I'll never say anybody's more favorite than her. And everybody's my favorite. Blake, everybody. I love every guest. This is just the most different. Let's put it like that. This is like the most different, and I loved it. I loved every moment of this, especially in this afternoon, especially when I barely got sleep and I needed this to recalibrate my mind. And this guy looking at me in my eyes and looking at y'all, the audience, he's talking to y'all. He wasn't doing this for us. He was doing this for y'all. So hit this man up. We'll put his information in the link in the description. Anything else you got to say, Alex?
You want to know what, Ro? I think we just got
What's up?
because I am so glad to hear that you just said my mind got recalibrated. I had little sleep.
Yeah.
Like I could tell that your energy changed. I could talk about that forever,
Yeah.
but I'm really happy
Yeah.
with this episode. I love every single one, and I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you, man. And everybody out there, we love you. You see how much we're doing. We're putting out an episode every day. We'll upload this today, hopefully. Got a few more to upload. We got like 3 in the can. So thank you guys. Rockwell podcast. Alexander Michael, we love you guys. And peace out, bro. Love you. Love you.